Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma and in today's video I'm going to be sharing all of the seeds that I'm going to be sowing for my allotment garden in the month of March. Hi, my name's Emma and 6 months ago I took on a brand new allotment plot. So if you're interested in gardening or growing your own food, follow my allotment diaries and let's start whacking stuff in together. So yes, March is finally here, which means that we can start sowing more and more seeds, not only at home in greenhouses and on windowsills, but also directly into our allotment plots as well. But should we? Should we? That is the question, because even though it is March and spring is kind of on the horizon now, like we are within touching distance of spring, the nights can still be quite cold, we can still get a frost, we could even still get snow. I think it snowed in April one year, so don't get too ahead of yourselves and always remember to still protect your seeds from the cold. So anything that I sow directly in my allotment plot will more than likely be closhed. Cloche is just a material we put over our beds and it will just stop the frost from settling on the top, keep it a little bit warmer. It also helps to keep all the moisture in so that our seeds are more likely to germinate, so it's a great thing to put over your beds. I'd recommend going out and getting some cloche if you don't have any already and you want to start sowing directly outside. There are some benefits to sowing directly, so if you're like me, I live in a Victorian terrace. I don't have much natural light inside and I only have quite a flimsy small outside greenhouse which is plastic, so it doesn't get very warm in there, and I just don't have the room to start as many seeds at home as I want to. So sowing directly, anything I can sow directly, just saves me so much space, so much energy and effort as well. Direct sowing is probably my favourite thing to do, but there are a few things I will be starting at home, either in seed trays or on my windowsill indoors. So I kind of have a mix of seeds to show you. I've got flowers and vegetables. Some will be sown at home in my little greenhouse or maybe even on my windowsill, and other things will go directly into my allotment plot. The first thing I'm going to be growing, and I grow this every single year, is my brassicas. I love brassicas. They're great at growing in partial shade. So if you've got any areas of your allotment plot or even in your garden that gets a little bit of shade, it gets a little bit shady, maybe it only gets 5 or 6 hours of sun a day, throw in some brassicas. They do not mind the shade. They grow really, really well. So for my brassicas, some of them I seem to start from seed at home and I kind of pot them on and then I plant them outside, but a lot of them I grow from plug plants. I don't think it's cheating, and I love all the different varieties that you can get. So I love growing those purple cauliflowers. They were incredible. I didn't find the seeds for those. I literally just brought them as plug plants and they did incredibly. So plug plants are not cheating, guys. But there are a couple I'm going to start from seed, and that is my green sprouting calabrese. Absolutely love this. I think it's a type of broccoli. It is broccoli, it's definitely broccoli. Yeah, calabrese. I've grown this for like 2 years in a row and it's always done really, really well. It's such a beautiful crop, it's really delicious. So I'm going to start that indoors. Also going to start some Savoy cabbage as well, one of my favourite cabbages, super easy to grow from a seed as well. Brussels sprouts need a really, really long growing period, so March is definitely the time to start your seeds if you're going to grow them from seed. But like I said, if you want to buy plug plants, wait for them to come into the garden centres, pick those up instead. My cauliflower, I always grow the all year round cauliflower. I don't actually have the seeds right now, but I absolutely love that, and that can be started anytime really, but I'm going to start mine in March. And then this last one, I think this is a brassica. I think it comes under the brassica families, but I could be completely wrong. And it's kohlrabi. This is the purple Vienna one. I've had a lot of success of growing this directly outside in my allotment plot, so I'm going to sow this directly and see how it goes. But kohlrabi is one of those, I think it's a brassica. If I'm wrong, then it's just a plant. We'll just call it a plant. But I really feel like kohlrabi is just one of those crops that's really underrated, and not enough people grow it. And actually, it's not only is this like really delicious to eat, you can eat the bulb, I think you can also steam and eat the leaves as well, but it's also so beautiful. It comes out such a vibrant purple and it's such an unusual looking crop, but kohlrabi is going to go directly into my plot. I have already sown some parsnips. I always do my parsnips in February, at the end of February. I've also sown some spinach and some beetroot as well. That went out last week, which was the last week of February. So I'm going to start with some beetroot. This is the golden eye beetroot. Beetroot's never really worked for me very well. It worked in my first year, but ever since then I've never really been able to grow it. But I keep whacking it in just in case, because you never know. One day it might decide to grow. Spinach renegade. whack that in, see what happens. And parsnips, and these are the Gladiator F1, and that's the only parsnips I've ever sown really, but I really like them and they always work for me. So we're going to put them into this bed here. Right, we're just going to thinly, 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 thinly. If you just say it, it will happen. Thin, 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 thin. Thin, thin, thin. Stop it, Emma. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. But if you haven't yet done those, you can do them in March. Just make sure to cloche them, like I said, because we still might get some colder weather and some frost. It can be hard to know what to grow and to get inspired for different things to grow. I always find that I tend to grow the same crops every year on rotation, and actually that can become quite dull. It's nice to find new things to grow, new inspiration, and one of the ways that I do that is through magazines. And that brings me to talk about the Readly app, and you know that I've gone on about this for the past year or so. I've been using it. It's honestly a fantastic source of information. So on the Readly app you can access over 7,000 magazines. There are tons and tons of different categories that you can go through and browse. I'm most interested in the gardening category, and there are so many gardening magazines on there. One of the things I love the most about it is that they are back catalogued. So if you've missed an edition or you want to go back to last year, a lot of the jobs to do every year are quite similar, so you can go back in time, find a magazine that you haven't seen from last year and have a browse through and get some inspiration. It just means that you'll never miss out on any edition of your favourite magazine. You can always go back and have a look at it. You can bookmark the articles that most appeal to you so you don't lose them and you don't have to go flicking through all the magazines again. They can all just be in one concise place. You can have all your favourite articles all bookmarked just to have a look over whenever you need to. And I have a fantastic link below that you can click if you want to sign up to Readly. It will give you 2 months free, and of course you can cancel at any time. So I am going to sow my red onions now in the month of March, and the variety I've gone for is Red Baron. Which I think will be really delicious. Apparently it's great in salads, but I also cook a lot with red onion because I just prefer the taste of red onions, to be honest. So this is what we're going to sow out. So I found a great article on the Readly app in the Country Living magazine, which is written by Sally Coulthard, and it's all about how to sow out your onion sets. She sets out some really great advice, really easy tips to follow. There's some great pictures there too, and I'm a big believer in kind of looking at pictures, especially in gardening magazines, because you're looking for all of that inspiration. The great thing about the Readly app is that you can actually zoom in onto any of the pictures or even the text as well. So I see that she has made some rows and then she's planting them in, and not too deep as well, because sets need to be sown a little bit shallower. She says that onions have shallow, delicate roots, so it's important to plant them in soil that already has plenty of mulch or compost, which is why I've chosen this bed here, which has been freshly mulched recently. So now we just have to keep our fingers crossed and hope that they grow into some lovely onions. If you're interested in finding out more about the Readly app or giving it a go yourself, I have a link below that will give you 2 months free, and of course you can cancel at any time. I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for inspiration for your garden this springtime or summertime, and also if you're looking for any tips and advice, because there is absolutely tons on there. Good luck, onions. And a couple of other things that have already gone out into my allotment plot are my carrots. I'm going to succession sow these, so I've just done 2 rows of the early Nance, which is one of my favourite carrot varieties, just really easy to grow. And I've also sown some peas into a length of guttering, which is a bit of a weird thing to do. You might have seen other gardeners do this. The idea is that when the roots go down into the guttering, it makes it much easier to transplant the entire row of peas into the ground. Just make sure to protect them from anything like mice or birds from getting your peas. I've just used a bit of netting over the top to protect mine. Okay, another crop that I'm going to start at home in my little greenhouse outside are my giant leeks. I absolutely love leeks, but I've never managed to grow one. I do have a couple growing behind me. They've been growing for over a year now, and I don't want to pick them because they haven't got to a normal leek size. I can't seem to get them to grow bigger than like a big blade of grass. Like, they just won't go any bigger. These are the leeks I was just talking about. They've been growing for about 2 years, and you can see that they're just not getting to like a leek size. I mean, that's a good size, but that's not a leek size. These are the giant winter leeks, and I'm going to sow these today in a little seed tray. So let's go and do that together. So I'm going to sow my leeks into a tray that looks like this with the individual little modules. I'm only doing half because I think I'll be able to use half for something else, maybe the cosmos actually, which will go in a little bit later. And we're just going to drop a few seeds into each of these, and then hopefully we'll be able to just pull out the ones that aren't strong and then leave them growing. So there'll be minimal root disturbance doing it this way. That's the theory anyway. Theory and reality rarely mix when it comes to seed sowing. So what we'll do is, the trick to sowing seeds is to always pour them into your hand and pinch out from there. It's very difficult to get it correct from a seed packet directly. So pour it into your hand, and what we're going to do is take a little pinch, just to pop a few into each one. And the other trick to remember is to always just pat them down a little bit. We need the seeds to have really good contact with the compost. You can see that I'm just using a normal multi-purpose compost here. I'm not using a very fine seed compost. I find that my seeds do quite well in normal multi-purpose compost, and I very, very rarely purchase specific compost. The only time I'll ever purchase something that's a specific compost is if it has to be acidic, so ericaceous. Let's pop those into the greenhouse. Right, flowers, it's going to be the month of sowing flowers. Right, cosmos. Cosmos is one of my favourite allotment flowers. Not only is it great for pollinators, it's great for picking as well, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I've got 3 different varieties here because I want them all over the plot, to be honest. I've got the Cosmos Sensation Mixed. These are long lasting, ideal for borders and cut flowers. So I'm assuming that these ones will give me quite long stems. I have grown them before. I think these are the really tall, big, classic cosmos, the classic colours, where you've got the lighter pink, the darker kind of fuchsia pink, and then the white as well. Stunning. Okay, so these are kind of your bog standard cosmos. Then I've got the Cosmos Dwarf Sensation Mixed. So these are just smaller, probably with smaller stems, so they're not going to be great for picking, but these are going to be great around my apple tree. I think I want some kind of lower planting around there, so I think that'd be really nice. Same colours. And then I've also got the Pink Mosaic, which has got a really lovely kind of like mosaic-y print on all of the petals, which I think is just beautiful. I did grow one year, I grew the double petal ones that have got like even more petals. These look like they have sort of got more petals, so they are stunning flowers, but I will start these in seed trays at home. Couple of things I'm going to grow directly at my allotment plot, but this is going to be later in March, probably towards that last week of March. That is my calendula, because calendulas do really well at my plot if I directly sow them. So that will be towards the end of March that I will sow these. So I'm going to grow these ones. These are the porcupine ones, which look quite bushy, but I do have some of the other calendulas as well, which look more like a flower. Not that they don't look like a flower. They look like a porcupine. You know what I mean. And of course, I'm going to sow my cornflowers. Cornflowers are now a staple at my allotment plot since I grew them for the first time last year. Absolutely fell in love with them. These are the classic Fantastic, so they're blue. I think that's the pretty classic colour of a cornflower. These will be sown directly towards the end of March, just into my flower bed. And of course, I'm going to sow my sunflowers. I'm going to start my first batch of sunflowers. Like I said, I like to succession sow sunflowers because they kind of grow, they bloom, they die, they're gone. If you succession sow them, you can kind of have those ones growing, and then you start your new seeds, and then those ones start growing, and they finish, and then they bloom. It's just lovely. You can just keep them coming. So last time together we also sowed our tomatoes. So we sowed the Roma, the Crockin and the Blue Moon, and this is how they're doing. You can see we've had really great germination, but they are what is called leggy. Essentially what's happened is that their stems are too long and they're kind of bending all over the place like this, so their leaves have started too high up, and the reason this happens is because there's not enough natural light for them, so they reach up and up and up as high as they can, and their stems get really long and thin, and then all the leaves come at the top and they just topple over and die. Now with any other plant that would be an issue, but the reason why I'm not worried about tomatoes is because you can actually replant them and bury them really deep, so you can actually plant them down to their first leaves. So when I repot these, which I will do soon, I will just pot them really deep down into the pots, and so that they have a chance of sort of becoming unleggy basically. And then hopefully as it gets lighter earlier, we'll get more light to them and they can grow really strong and healthy. So later on in March, I will plant out my early potatoes. These are the Rocket First Earlies. They've been chitting on my windowsill, which just enables them to sprout a little bit, and so that they will grow better when they're in the ground, and they will go out towards the end of March. Hope you've enjoyed my little video today of seeds that I'm sowing in March for my allotment plot. If you have, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hope that helps, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.